In this video, I want to talk about attraction, because attraction is one of the most important foundation in order to be able to build relationships. I mean, if you are not attracted and sexually attracted to a woman, how can you build something based on that then? You can't, right? You need the fundamental. You need to feel attraction. And so do women as well. They need to feel attracted towards you, and they need to feel connected towards you. So first, we have to talk about what attraction actually is. So what is attraction? Attraction is actually based on your brain's releases of neurotransmitters, all right? And I'm talking mainly about 4 neurotransmitters that get released in the brain when you feel attraction. So what are those neurotransmitters? I will tell you the first one is dopamine, the second one is oxytocin, the third one is serotonin, and the fourth one is epinephrine. The complex combination of those neurotransmitters makes you feel attraction towards people, make you feel sexual attraction towards women. Without those neurotransmitters, you won't feel attraction. So there's been a lot of research made in this area, and the way those neurotransmitters getting released in the brain are very different for men and women. So let's first talk about men. How can men get those neurotransmitters released in the brain? Well, the only thing we have to do is to put a beautiful woman in front of them, even on a picture, and he will start feel all those attraction spikes in his head towards that woman. And it's not only looking at her and then feel like she's beautiful. It goes beyond that. You start feeling emotions towards her. You start feeling something more than just her being beautiful. This is something that we also want to replicate in women's brain. We want women to feel the same way as we do, but towards us. And this has been a lot of studies there as well, a lot of research, where they actually saw that when women saw beautiful men that are also successful financially and had good status, the only thing they could replicate was a small release of dopamine in their brain. That's it. There were no other attractive neurotransmitters released. It was just a small amount of dopamine. And that was just an indicator that women in general want to know more about that particular man. She was interested, but was she attracted? No. Not much. She will never go home and sleep with him. She don't want to go out on a date with him yet. Just want to find out something more about him. But men, they felt something else. They wanted to do everything. They could even marry this woman if she, just say yes. So most guys could, feeling-based, if they would do it, is a different thing. But feeling-based, men could just go up to a beautiful woman they see on the street and ask her, do you want to marry me? And that guy would actually mean it, based on what he sees. Women would never, ever do that. I'm now talking about the vast majority of women. So I'm talking about the rule here. There are always exceptions of the rule, but we're focusing about the main rule here. And the huge main rule is that women don't do that. How can we mimic the feeling of attraction towards women so women can feel something towards us? Because that is what we want, right? We want to build relationships. And in order to be able to build relationships, she has to feel something for us. Otherwise, it's a dead end. So now we go into the area of interpersonal communication. There's been a lot of studies and research in neuroscience, in behaviorism that are linked to interpersonal communication. And what they saw was that when women were listening to men that were talking about great things, great stories, great achievements, interesting traveling situations, or they were good at joking and being witty and flirtatious. What they saw was that women's brain didn't react that much, except for the same thing as when they saw beautiful men, a small amount of dopamine release. Most likely because they felt amused, they felt entertained, and therefore dopamine comes out and making the situation quite pleasurable, like, oh, this is enjoyable. But it was not those attraction spikes that we were looking for. It wasn't. We had to dig deeper and look for what elements do we have to bring to the table in order to make women actually feel attraction towards us as men. So what the communication factory did was that they measure the brain activity in women when they were talking, all right? So what they did, and it's not only one study, it's a lot of studies made that were showing the same thing. When they put someone who could ask a series of questions and a person that could take things into depth, a man that could make meaningful conversations, when they put him towards, sat down and were talking to those women, they put him into a room where he could have an interaction with those women that they want to measure the neurotransmitters. What they saw is that when a man could actually make the conversation meaningful by asking the right questions, and she had the chance to completely express herself fully, when she was talking in depth, it was not until then we saw a huge spikes of neurotransmitters that were linked to attraction finally. We're talking about all those 4 beautiful neurotransmitters: dopamine, epinephrine, serotonin, and oxytocin were released. And this is something that interpersonal communication faculty have been knowing since 1950s. But it's not until the last years, the last decade, where they could actually measure the brain activity to support the hypothesis, really, in terms of neuroscience evidence. So what does that tell us? Well, if you are a man that really wants to build relationship with women where she feel attracted towards you, where she feel emotional connected towards you, then you have to make them talk. But that is easier said than done. In order to make her talk, you as a man need to be very good at listening first. Because if you can't listen, you can't ask the right questions. And if you can't ask the right questions, you can't take the conversation to depth, all right? You just can't. So what kind of knowledge do you need here in order to be able to do everything I said to make you feel attraction? Well, what you need is the right type of interpersonal communication skills. You need to be able to inject empathy in conversations to make something happen. Empathy in communication is also regarded as a superpower, not only powerful, as a superpower amongst psychologists, basically all of them. And not only psychologists, I'm talking about other professions like journalists, people that are expert in negotiations, people that are expert with behavioral science and behaviorism. All those people see empathy as something extraordinary, something that can truly change the dynamic of any conversation. And if you are a man that really wants to date and attract women, empathy in conversations means everything. I've seen a lot of guys being really popular amongst the public. I mean, they are successful in business, they are fun, they are playful, they are kind as a person, but they can't create connection because they don't have the conversational skills with empathy. And when they actually learn empathy in those conversations, everything changes, everything. And this is also valid for guys that just don't know what to say, doesn't know how to have a normal conversation. And then they learn how to apply empathy in conversations, and suddenly they are not in doubt anymore. They can just make the conversation flow naturally in a very good way. However, theory is one thing and practice is another. And what I believe is that if you are a man that wants to be able to have great dates with women, then you have to tweak the empathetic part in a way that are tailored for attracting and dating women. And what I've done here is that I have known the theories for a long time. I've been studying this for many years, and I do have a master in interpersonal communication. I have a master in behavioral science, and I also have an MBA tailored towards corporate communication. What I've seen is that it's not until you can actually practical use it when it becomes really, really valuable for you. And when I started out to really tailor my own system, what I did is that I actually started with approaching women on the street, in coffee shops and all that, and I apply the theories into practice. But that practical application wasn't really fully developed yet. So I had to go through women after women after women and really fine-tuning everything. So I had to go from what did I do good, what did I do bad, and how can I make it better? How can I try this one out better, and so on. And I did that over and over again until I reached thousands and thousands of women. I've been approaching over 3,000 women from cold approaches. And I saw which methods actually work brilliantly, beautifully when it comes to women after those 3,000 women. And I've been coaching thousands of men to do the same with extraordinary results. And there's another aspect to it as well. When men are confident talking to women, they become confident in everything else. At work, talking with their boss, talking about career opportunities and so on, they become confident there as well. And they can use the same tools to actually enhance almost all aspects of their lives by using empathy in conversations. This is one of the most important videos for you if you're interested in attracting and dating women, because you need to understand what elements actually trigger attraction in women. All right? So everything I said here now is based on real science. The science of relationship building theory, the science of likability, the science of interpersonal communication that are linked to neuroscience and behaviorism and psychology. So that is what I provide. I provide coaching for men that are really dedicated to make a real change based on real things. One of the worst things men can do is to apply a lot of methods that are not scientifically backed, that is not a science. And if you start learning things and get a habit of doing things that are not scientifically backed, that doesn't have any proven record, then you can actually create habits that actually hurt you rather than benefit you. So that is also one of the most important things to point out here. We only focus on real science. And I am a strong believer in scientific research. I'm a strong believer in universities, in the academic faculties. But with that said, it still have to be practical. And many times the only way to become good at this is to live it, is to breathe it, is to be it. And the only thing you can do if you want to be it is to apply it into your day-by-day life. This is also not a quick fix. You can't learn this quick, especially when it comes to this listening skills, the empathetic listening skills. It takes time to actually master. You can learn the theories quite quickly. You can learn the training wheels quite quickly, and the practical elements you can learn quite quickly or how to execute them. What I mean is that you know what to do, but to be able to do it automatically, on the other hand, which is a must later on, that just require repetition after repetition after repetition. Many times it's hard to keep this consistently. Many times it's even hard to start. I mean, I know how scary it can be to approach and talk with beautiful women. It is something that have been troubling me for so many years. But once you get over it, wow, your life truly becomes meaningful, because you can start meeting those you find really meaningful. And most importantly, you can make them feel the same way as you do towards them. I mean, wouldn't that be amazing to make one beautiful woman that you find super attractive to feel the same way towards you as you feel for them? Many times, this is the most important thing in life, because it's not until then you will feel like a real man, a man that actually have that fulfillment. And then you can start focusing about your career, perhaps. You can start focusing about other stuff in life when you have this sorted. I've seen so many guys being scared about a lot of other things because they didn't have that part sorted yet. So you can become a completely different man with a completely different confidence if you get this right. So I hope you like this video. I hope you managed to get a different mindset about how things actually work. And I see you on the other side.